As we enter year 3, can you believe that? Year 3 of No BS Wealth podcast. I can't believe it. I didn't think we'd make it this far, honestly. But we are here, and we are not necessarily changing, but we're adding and enhancing what we do. And that is building our community. No BS Wealth is designed and has always been designed to bring no bullshit, transparent information and connections to you as the listener. And those listeners make up business owners, individuals, and even other financial planners. And the whole point of No BS is to bring that bullshit, no transparent information to you without any of the fluff, right? We're going to cut right to the chase. There's going to be cussing. There's going to be drinking every now and again, right? Money is stressful for all of us and all of us involved. And now we're launching our brand new website. NoBSWealthPodcast.com is going to be phenomenal, and it's going to be designed around you, more centric to being able to get all of the information, but also connecting you to our vetted partners. I've personally vetted everyone on the website, and these partners are designed around helping us create a team to help you further your wealth journey. Today, we're going to attack your mindset. I know we talk a lot about money mindset, but this is going to dip into a little more of just who you are mindset. There's a lot of integration. Obviously, that's going to happen. But today's guest, Deanna with Label Free Podcast, has a tremendous, good, bad, amazing story and journey to get to where she's at. But there's no way she could get to where she's at without having a mindset that is very strong and pushes her through. So today, that's what we're going to chop up about. Without further ado, Deanna, why don't you tell us about your story?
Hey, Stoy. Thank you for having me first and foremost. I always love it when I get an opportunity to be on the other side of the mic. It changes things up, but I also think it's a good experience. I've got a very up and down roller coaster story. Just like everyone, our paths aren't linear. I had an abusive father. He was a deadbeat, took off when I was like 15. I'm the oldest of 5 siblings. I unfortunately repeated the pattern after I graduated high school with an abusive guy and got involved. I'm a human trafficking survivor, got involved in drugs, but luckily I was strong enough mentally to really seek counseling and got involved in martial arts and just started reading like not self-help books, but like enlightenment books, right? We've come so far since then in society. But then after I got out of that relationship, met my late husband. I was with him for almost half my life when he passed away. We had 5 businesses together. So a couple real estate holding companies and then a large manufacturing company. We were in automotive. I was the vice president of key accounts and business operations. I closed many multi-million contracts during my time there in that industry and in that business. When he passed away in 2016, I had to completely restart my life. And I actually went back and repeated old behaviors and patterns and attracted a very abusive boyfriend again. And I think it's just because of trauma and grieving and like having to figure out my life again. And it was wild. And so after I got out of that relationship, I really took a lot of time to just focus on me and healing myself and just finding that peace and that happiness and joy just being by myself, which I think is very important. I've never been one to jump from relationship to relationship. They say that you should take like up to a year after you break up with someone to really process and let go of that baggage. And so I did for several years, actually. And during that time, I got into fashion design. I started my own label. I did 3 collections. I was on the runway in Rhode Island at Style Week. I was on their local news. I was a finalist for the Cadillac Design Challenge here in Chicago with Style Chicago. And then I did my own event against human trafficking in 2019, which was huge, hit 300 people. And that was the end of that. And then I got into podcasting. And so here we are 5 years later. I'm a top podcaster and I love what I do. It's all that I do now. So I consider myself like a media house. And my story is about living label free and just like dropping from me. Why I started it and the message was I was tired of carrying all those labels on me. Abused, not worthy, a widow, just like all those negative things that we carry with us throughout our life and those experiences that we had. I was like, I'm done. I don't care anymore. I'm living label free and people can think whatever they want, but I don't care. And then that was just very liberating for me.
So when you finally got to that stage, we're going to hit upon more of your story.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. I know that was a lot.
Have you wrote a book about it? Because I think you
Not
need
yet.
to.
I know it's on my list, but I'm only one person. You know how it would how it's very intense having a podcast. There's a lot of things involved, so I can only do so much. All right, Troy.
Yeah,
okay.
That's fair. But I'll keep you to it. Don't worry. We'll get that book out.
Sounds good.
When you got to that freedom of just being label free and basically telling everyone else to F off, what work did it take to get there? Was it a light bulb situation? Was there an event, or was it just you were just so tired and it was like, you know what?
I think all of the above, really. I've done so much work on myself in my life, right? In my early 20s, my counselor said, "Oh wow, you're way ahead of your time. Most people don't start working on this stuff until they're midlife." So I had already started working on myself there. Then I was with my husband, my late husband, for so long. And I actually got certified as a life coach during that period while I was running the businesses. And I've always been on this journey of wanting to improve myself. And after he passed away and I started the Label Free podcast, it was I had never been a good self promoter. I'm the one that I used to be the one that would sit in the corner and just listen and take it all in. My employees used to say, "You're very interesting," because I would just really listen a lot. And my late husband was always the talker. He was the talker. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to sit in the back seat forever. I'm going to eventually step into the limelight myself. And I was forced to do that after he passed away. And it was very difficult because I wouldn't say, what is that term that the imposter syndrome? I don't really believe in that, but there's that fear of, I was told, you're not good enough. You never amount to anything. All those negative things that are being said to you. And I just was I'm not going to believe these lies anymore. And so for me, it was first of all, you have to admit that your brain is saying that little man's talking shit to you, right? Oh, sorry. I don't know if I can swear.
No, you're good.
No, you have to admit that you're not, the guy's talking shit to you, number one. Number two, you have to be able to face that. See, where is it coming from? Why are you believing these lies? Because you are worthy. And then it just, when I was ready to drop it all and be completely open and honest about things that I've been through, then it was just it was very liberating, and it created a different kind of strength inside of me.
Beyond tremendous to be able to do that, because the odds were stacked against you.
Yes.
Probably multiple times. You know what I mean?
It's amazing I'm still alive.
Yeah, right? It truly is. We laugh about it, but it is. It truly is. And there's a lot of people out there that are not maybe going through that exact same thing, but they have their own things. We all do.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
What triggered you, or how did you even get to starting to work on yourself? Obviously, we do it with age at some point. It just, I don't know, maturity, whatever you
not
call
everybody.
it.
Not everybody.
No, that's true. Half my family.
Yeah, me too. Same.
Besides that, what do you think was your step? What made you want to really
I just
work
wanted something better for myself. I wanted peace, right? I wanted to find joy and be grateful for what I have and who I am, and not let life just pass me by and not live in a better place. So when you watch someone die, you're someone who you're married to, you've been with almost half your life, and you watch them lose their battle with life. And I was young. I was 38 yeah. And when you watch someone, he was larger than life. He ultimately killed himself because he was a big steroid user. He wouldn't stop injecting, and he was a big bodybuilder. It really changes your perspective, right? Whoa, life is very short. We all have a reservation we can't cancel. And so what do I want the rest of my life to look like? I felt like I was very lucky. It makes me sad sometimes that he's not here with us anymore, but that was his journey, right? And he was not, I knew he wasn't going to make it. He was giving up. He needed his third kidney transplant. And I fought with him endlessly to stop injecting, to snap out of it. You're going to be fine. And he just wasn't there. When I watched that for several years, just that steady decline, it really changed my perspective. Whoa, I'm blessed to be healthy. I'm blessed to be alive. I'm blessed to have drive. I'm blessed to be smart. I'm blessed to be active and strong and just all these different things. And so you have a choice. And I think that's the hardest thing for people to realize. You have a choice. What do you want your life to look like? This woe is me victim mentality is not good doing you any favors. You got to snap out of it. You got to take ownership over your shit. And if you want a better life for yourself, you got to own it. You have to make a choice. And so I just made a choice. I remember I would sit in my living room. I own a townhouse in the suburbs. I live in Chicago now with my new husband. And I remember sitting there by myself and just enjoying the peace and quiet of just sitting there with no TV on, no music, and just feeling a sense of incredible peace. And it took a while to get there, but that was a choice that I made where I wanted to be.
Peace. You brought up peace.
Yes.
Peace is important in, it's so important that I don't think people understand it. You think about anyone who survived trauma, and that's from the military to sports to trafficking, to you name it.
Yeah.
They all want one thing,
Yep.
and that is peace. It seems as if, though, the others that don't recognize that, they're not looking for peace. They're looking for chaos, whether it's subconsciously or not.
Yeah.
They're looking for chaos because of, I don't know, the media, the driven piece of it or whatever. But when you're talking about peace and that feeling of peace, what can you say to everyone who's out there that's, I can't do it, that peace isn't for me? What can you say to them to at least get them to at least start to think about peace?
And first of all, chaos can be addicting, right? Like that roller coaster ride you go on, that emotional roller coaster ride. And I still like some chaos, but controlled chaos, like going out having fun. I was at a networking event last night with my girlfriends and just having fun and like the chaos of talking to all these new people. Like that's healthy chaos. And that's okay to have that kind of excitement in your life. But the dysfunctional chaos is just going to continue to keep you on a roller coaster that is going to cause more trauma, and I say it could cause depression, right? It can cause chemical, maybe not chemical, but yeah, chemical imbalance because you get addicted to that. And so it's like you start repeating a pattern that's negative because of the chaos, like whatever it is in your relationship or with your friends, with your family. We know there's all different types. I was in an abusive relationship several times, and it's just like a cycle that repeats until you decide that this is not healthy for me. And anyone can do it. You have to identify what is a healthy chaos versus what is a negative chaos, and what does it look like for you. So my healthy chaos is going to a networking event, having a great time with my girlfriends, talking, listening to the music, and just like all the excitement around me, versus I want peace and stability at home and in my relationships. And if I have someone around me that is disturbing that peace and is not stable, then I can't have that relationship. I have very clear boundaries around me now because I don't want to get triggered. I've done all this work on myself to get to this place, and that kind of stuff will trigger me. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to turn into the person I was before, and I'm not going to be the best version of myself. And I'm too old. First of all, I'm too old to be acting like that. Number one, I'm sorry, but if you're in your 40s and you're still acting like that, you got problems. Okay, you need to go see someone. I just don't want to go there. My peace and my stability means everything to me.
The huge part about that is boundaries.
Yes.
Is what you said. For me, it was, and it wasn't really the pandemic of 2020, but it was the whole civil rights movement in 2020, which most people forget about, right? That was the.
Oh no, I remember that. We had a big thing here in Chicago. It was crazy, and I was crying watching that. Crying because I have a lot of friends that are different cultures, different backgrounds, different colors, and that was very upsetting for me to watch all that.
It allowed me to set boundaries and to figure out who truly should be in my life or not. And that was one of the most freeing things possible, and then sent me off to not ruining relationships, but getting rid of the ones. Right? Getting rid of the, if you want to say
toxic.
Fat, baggage, whatever, toxic. The toxicity is what you need to get rid of in your life. Yeah. And for those listening, that can include family, and it probably should include family. Just because someone has a title doesn't mean anything. Just because they're blood related doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You need to protect who you are and who you want to be.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a phenomenal message you had.
I have a sister, and I don't care whether she watches this or not, but I've tried my whole life with her. I wasn't always the best, right? And this has been my journey to get better. And I think that she thinks that I'm the same person I was 20 years ago, which I'm not. And I've worked on that relationship. I've put in so much effort to work on it. And recently, it's just she went back into her same cycle, and she wants nothing to do with me. I'm like, you know what? That's fine, because I don't need to deal with the instability. If we have an issue with each other, let's talk about it instead of flipping off the handle, getting all crazy, calling me names, and just no. First of all, we're blood. Number two, we're too old. You're in your 40s too. Why are we communicating like this? And so I'm fine. I've blocked her from everything, and that's me setting my boundary. I'm not going backwards. Meet me at the table if you want to have a discussion and let's talk about it. But you're gonna leave that shit in the past. I'm not staying there with you. I'm not staying there with you.
Absolutely. You had talked about things that trigger you and how chaos is, well, essentially chaos is a drug.
Yeah.
But it happens, right? It still happens. You still get triggered. Things still happen. It's not all or nothing. I think our culture right now, specifically in America, is I all have to do all or not, right?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a human that you can only do one thing and not the other. There
Right.
has to be a mix. And I tie this back to money because I have to. It's No BS Wealth podcast. Got to go back to money.
Right.
I tell people when they talk about their budget, they're always cringe when that word comes up because it means I can't spend or whatever. In there, I always tell everyone to have a line item that says fun money.
Right.
And it's literally money you could go burn. I don't give a shit what you do with it.
Yeah.
You literally could torch it and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Because as humans, we have the ability to be impulsive.
Absolutely.
And you need to be able to achieve some of that impulsiveness because it keeps you healthy. And so I'm glad you had brought that up, but I just wanted everyone to know that you still get triggered, don't you?
Yeah,
you still get triggered, right?
I try, but here's the difference: acknowledging when I get triggered and someone's trying to gaslight me or make me a scapegoat or put all the blame on me, and that's just no. When I can see that's happening, before you just react, right? Because that's the trigger impulse, is that you just react. Now, when I can identify that, and I'll just put my boundaries very clear. Like, you're not going to gaslight me, and I'm not going to be a scapegoat for anyone. I didn't single-handedly do anything to anyone. And if you're going to bring up things from the past, I'm not living there with you. And so I'm not the same person I was before. And at this point in my life and doing all this work that I do, like, I can identify when something is going to trigger me and almost set me off. And I will just address it right then and there. And that's just this growth and like wisdom and just acknowledging and knowing what that is. Because when we're younger, or if we haven't done the work on ourselves, we don't realize what gaslighting is. And it's a real thing. And when someone wants to put all the blame on you and make you the scapegoat, that's another thing. And it's just, once you can start like identifying those things when people do that to you, those triggers aren't so intense. You can acknowledge it and call the person out, because if someone's trying to trigger you, they've done that to you before. They know what works to get a reaction out of you and start that chaotic, like in that chaotic engagement, right? Because it's just like a cycle, right? So if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. Okay. And your passion comes through very heavy on that. Obviously, it's near and dear to you.
It's just been happening recently with family, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this anymore. Like, I'm way past that. And I'm just, and it's upsetting because I value family. I have such strong family values, and they've always been such a big part of my life. But I'm not going to live in these places with them anymore. And so for me, like, it's just very recent. So that's why I'm so passionate.
A little raw still.
Little raw.
I like it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. That brings us to your podcast. Why do a podcast, right? It's not easy. I tell everyone that. It's a business, but it's also media, and then it's your brand. And it sucks, ultimately. Shit is hard.
Yes, it is.
Why dive into that? Was it 2019, I think you had started?
2019, yeah.
Yeah, why dive into that? What was the driving factor by doing a podcast? And then what keeps you going 5 years later?
So I already told you where the message came from, right? And so also it was me stepping more into my voice, being able to use my voice and talking about a message that was very, like, meant a lot to me, and clearly means a lot to a lot of people all around the world. It really resonates, living label free, because you can really apply it to so many different things in your life. And I've had a wide variety of guests on, but the underlying message is always the same, and there's some kind of value or wisdom that's in those conversations. I didn't even know what a podcast was in 2019. I had just wrapped up my fashion thing. I'm totally type A, if you can't tell. And I always have to have multiple things going on, right? I'm just that type of person. Like, I want to achieve things in life. And I got an email, and I tell the story a lot, on how to start a podcast for under $100. I was like, I don't know who the fuck I am or what a podcast is, but I'm going to start one.
That's right. Let's do it.
Yeah. And so that's when I came up with the message, and I read the whole article. I did my research, and I just started learning my craft. And I remember the day I recorded my intro episode. I drank a whole bottle of wine, and it took me like 10 takes. And I so nervous. I have no audience, really. I've got some presence on social media, but I've got no audience. I don't know, like, this whole podcasting game. And I was so scared to like release that first episode. And I think a lot of people have like fear, but I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to, sorry guys, but I'm just going to release it, and we'll see what happens. And obviously, since the beginning till now, I've very much fine-tuned my craft, my interview style, the type of guests that I have on the show, how I promote it, and obviously where it's at now today, where it's a business. I'm a total media house person, whatever. And I think I think I made a really good decision to start it. But I love talking to my guests. I love hearing these pearls of wisdom every single day and releasing it out there to the world. I love getting the response back from the audience. Oh, thank you so much. They're buying books. My guests are getting clients, and just knowing that I'm doing my part. I've got so many incredible reviews and recommendations, and I don't even ask for them. They just come in. And for me, it's just, okay, I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing this is like God's work. This message is much bigger than myself. And what's kept me going is just really staying true to the message and not losing sight of that, and being passionate about helping people break free of those self-limiting beliefs like I had. And I still have sometimes. You still get doubt, like, oh, I should be doing this. It's getting so hard. I'm not making millions over here. Maybe one day, but I'm still like, I feel like I'm doing. I have a purpose to do, right? And I think it's bringing people together, that unity, and realizing that we all have issues. We've all had a unique journey. We've all gotten over different things, and if I can talk to all these different guests from all over the world that are living this label-free life, and they're on their own terms, and God bless. Let's keep inspiring and motivating.
The leap, that first step into it took you 10 takes and a bottle of wine. That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I always tell people, just take the first step. It's really not that tiring. And we're talking about podcasting, starting a business, you name it.
Yes.
Just
absolutely.
You want to do it. You have the passion. Take that first step. What do you say to everyone that is on that fence, that hasn't been able to take that step? Maybe they're 2 bottles of wine deep and they still can't do it. What do you say to those people to just push the button, send it?
If 2 bottles of wine doesn't get you to take that leap, then I don't know what will. Everything. I've done a lot. I've been a bodybuilder. I've stepped on stage half naked. Like, every time was scary. You're just like, holy shit, putting yourself out there. I'm do a lot of networking events, and I've started speaking. That's scary. Anything worth doing in life that is taking a risk or causes some kind of fear inside of you tells you that you should do it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Really, is like, the worst that can happen, if you think about it, is not much, really, right? Okay, if someone rejects you, okay, big whoop de doo. But chances are most people are going to embrace you, and you're gonna probably go on the best ride of your life by taking that risk or that chance. Like, I am on the best ride of my life right now, and sometimes I think, sometimes I still think, who the fuck do I think I am? But obviously, I am where I'm supposed to be. Like, there are miraculous things that happen almost every week that remind me that I am in the right place, and I'm doing the right thing, and this is my journey, and I have got to keep pushing forward and keep doing what I'm doing. And that's just, there's still fear that comes up for me. I'm human. And what was it, Nick Nolte? Fear, false evidence appears real. That's fear. False evidence appears real. And so it's like, if you're fearful, just take the step, take the risk anyways, because you never know what's going to happen. In that, facing that fear, there comes tremendous personal growth. And that is what helps you you talked about mindset. That is what helps you with disciplining your mindset to keep moving forward and to try new things and just face your fears.
The common theme that I want people to think about, and I'm going to ask you about all the guests that you interviewed and see if this is a common theme as well, is I want people to recognize that no one's perfect and no one has their shit together. No one. I've not met one person that I would say, oh yeah, I'm going to put you on a pedestal because you're so successful and you have all your shit together. You start talking to them, their life is as chaotic as ours is, no matter what. Have you found that in all your guest interviews, that really no one has their shit together? We're just pushing forward and we have the mindset that we're going to make it and do it the best to our ability?
Absolutely. Yeah. And some people that I've had on the show have had tremendous failure. He was on my show, and he's working with me now at pro bono. Actually, he believes in me to get me to the stage, and then he'll be making money off of me later, which is great. I feel very blessed for that. But he lost, he was an entrepreneur. He lost $60,000. Was on the verge of bankruptcy, and like that, he talks about his journey, like working through that, and now he's an incredible coach, charging $65,000 a year for one client. Like, I want to get there. You're making up your loss in one client. Shit. Right. I want to get to that place.
And those
So,
places are,
people, come on, let's talk about, and I'm not sure, your
yeah,
audience and what their beliefs. I don't get into politics, but
me neither.
Donald Trump, how many times did he file for bankruptcy? Like, some of the most successful people in the world have experienced tremendous failure. And so, to me, I don't really believe in failure. Like, I wrestled with that when I closed my fashion business down, because I was like, I thought I was going to be the next Chanel. That was my goal. No, I seriously did. And I didn't realize, like, all the work, it's very difficult industry, very difficult business to make money in, and people are very picky about their clothes. But I just looked at it like, that was one of my dreams, and I, like most people, would never take that risk and chase a dream like that, and I did. But it taught me a lot about how to get comfortable starting to self-promote, and also just like business, building a brand, because my brand was very strong, and people knew me here in Chicago. Holy shit, there's Deanna Marie Label, here she is, and all of that stuff. And I did it. I did have a level of success, but it wasn't the level of success that I wanted. I wasn't like raking in the money, right? But I did it. And so closing it was hard and it was difficult, but I went after my dream and I made it happen.
So go do it, everybody. Just go do it. Just get your ass out there and pull the damn trigger.
Yeah.
You brought up Donald Trump, and I'm doing it from politics because I don't talk politics. I think they're all dumb and they do a shitty job anyway. Mm-hmm. That being said, Amen. You had brought on talking about failures, talking about bankruptcies. I think fundamentally, as a society, because of our media, debt, like the word debt, is used so negatively that it scares the living shit out of people. And ultimately, failure is debt. Debt is failure. Yeah. You cannot be successful without some sort of debt or failure. Amen. The richest people in the world have a shit ton of debt. Yeah. They have so much debt, it would make you nauseous. Yeah. However, all that is leveraging that experience, that money, that person to get ahead, to be successful, to make that money. And if you as a person don't recognize that, then you are one of those people that is getting leveraged for someone else to get ahead, ultimately. And you need to I need people to trigger that and be like, I need to leverage other humans or other money for me to make money. That is the only way to truly build and be successful to the degree which you want. Yeah, absolutely. And if you go to any of these, like I've gone to Tony Robbins, like one of his shows or events, and he had speakers, all these famous Gary or whatever his name is, all the popular guys out there that are big time speakers and making impacts. And they talk about, if you come into a lot of money, you should not pay like your house down. You want to use the bank's money and just make your mortgage payment and earn interest on this lump sum money that you have, and God knows how much money people come into. But he just made a point of like what you just said, leveraging other people's money to get ahead. And so you're right, business takes money, and sometimes you got to borrow it and see what happens. You're going to come out of it. You will be a struggle sometimes. When my husband passed away, and I lost everything, like you're talking about multi-million dollars. Like we had businesses, and I had that larger than life lifestyle. I had the Mercedes, the Ferrari, we flew private, the big mansion, the 10,000 square foot mansion. And like the IRS was going to come after me for $250,000. Luckily I got out of that, but like I had nothing. I was at the top of the world to nothing. And it was a struggle, but now I'm back and I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm not making the money I want to yet, but I'm getting there. I know it will come. And I've had a lot of debt. I'm still working out some of that debt, because you're talking about this big, huge lifestyle to nothing. I'm still working out of some of that stuff, but I'm still here. I'm great. Like I didn't die. What was I watching? I don't know. I was on some reel or something, but it was the little clip, and I forgot what movie it was, and it was just like, "What, did you die?" No, you didn't. You didn't die. You're good to go. Let's get going with this. So exactly. All right. As we wrap this up, obviously we're going to tag you and everything, so I'm not worried about that. People are going to find you. Yeah. Find Label Free Podcasts. It's phenomenal. I just binged about 4 episodes in the last 2 days. Thank you. Appreciate that. That being said, what do you want to what's one thing you want to leave everybody with that can get them to take this next step or to maybe change their mindset? Yeah. So since it is about mindset, and so Label Free is about dropping the labels and like becoming, like getting out of these self-limiting beliefs, and there's an alignment there with mindset, and
And I think people get in their own way, overcomplicating things and overthinking things when it really is so simple. And whoever you resonate with, like somebody's going to resonate with my message versus resonating with your message or Tony Robbins' message or something else. And it's very simple. Like just take that first step. If something is scary, take that first step. And with doing new things creates new wisdom and creates like a different type of mindset and you have to grow as an individual, and as you make the decision to grow, that mindset's going to come in where you're going to know that you're capable, it's possible, and failure is just a part of the journey if it happens, but I hope not. I hope you're incredibly successful, but you just have to take that first step, and you have no idea what's on the other side of that door once you start moving through.
Okay, Deanna said it. Get off your ass and take that first step.
Sorry, it's just like going to the gym, damn it. Just got to get off your ass and just do it.
Just get off your ass and do it.
The preceding program was sponsored by Black Mammoth. Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Black Mammoth. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Black Mammoth website, www.blackmammoth.com. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to effect or attempt to effect transactions and securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice due to various factors including changing market conditions. The information discussed in this broadcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up-to-date, Black Mammoth do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature and is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation. Past performance is not indicative of future results.